Hello, everybody. I didn't even do the intro. That's okay. I'm thinking of it now. We'll do it next time.
Just act like you saw it.
Pretend it happened.
We can shut up for 10 seconds and pretend it's happening.
Yeah, everyone be quiet and do the music.
We were so busy already talking as we do before we're live about the case, and we're like, oh, we should probably go get started since we're late.
To maybe save some of this for the actual live discussion.
But this one, I think there's quite a bit to talk about, and
Oh yeah,
just to go over it. And I'm honestly I'm kind of on the fence both ways. I think there was activity happening, and then I think young people took it and ran with it. So I think there's a lot going on here. But you know what I couldn't find was if anybody in the house currently or after them, like if they had activity after that family moved out.
Well, the mom lived in the house until she died in 2003. And according to Janet and Margaret, the two girls that were present during all of that, their mom said that absolutely nothing happened after that. She lived in peace.
Fits with the poltergeist label, right? Because we've talked about before, but just for viewers that maybe don't know the difference, is a poltergeist is not actually like a human spirit. From what I understand, it's not like a human spirit causing things to move. Typically it happens when people have like repressed emotions, go through puberty, things like that. And they almost create this energy that is able to manipulate the physical world. So moving things, throwing things like that. So this case here is two preteen girls. So
I have the exact word here somewhere. Hold on.
Okay, yeah. If you can do a better definition, I'd love to hear it.
They're created by psychokinetic energy. And yes, it's normally prepubescent teens and who has some sort of drama, something in their life, which these girls definitely had, with their dad leaving right before all the crap started. And then several people said that they both hated and were afraid of their father. Not to mention the feelings that their mom was putting in their heads because their dad would stop by to pay some bill or something and bring his new girlfriend along, which mom didn't like very much.
So much drama.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd be in it just for the family drama. We were just talking about this. I'm nosy. I want to know what's going on. I want to hear everything.
Yeah, I mean, take out the paranormal and you have a Lifetime movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so all of our friends, and we did it again. So all of our friends coming in, we are discussing the Enfield Poltergeist. We never said yet. Over in London, Enfield is a suburb of London, and I would be curious if Chair Bear, you are in at least that right bit of land, right? And I never want to throw out people's locations just for safety reasons, but you are closer than we are. Are you familiar with the Enfield Poltergeist, and have you happened to be there?
Chair Bear actually said, I've heard of this one and it's a good one, over in the comments already before you even said that. So yeah.
So, I mean, I would love to go over to Ireland, England one day, Scotland, like that whole area, and just go sightsee and go paranormal sightseeing. So I have a few links I will start putting into chat. There are lots to watch on YouTube and a podcast, which I haven't gotten to listen to yet. I saw it this morning and I'm like, well,
yep.
But I'll listen to it afterwards.
He does it out of England too, so.
Yes. So this was what, 78 into 79?
77 into 78.
78. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute. I've downloaded 3 of the pictures associated with this that we can show later, which I don't know. To me,
Yeah,
they look like little girls jumping between beds, but it's hard to say,
that's what I
right?
saw.
There wasn't video cameras like that back then.
The only evidence that I seen and listened and heard and watched, and I was like, maybe, is like the audio recordings, but like the pictures, because it was still shots and everything was so, it wasn't like it is now, digital and stuff. So like shutter speeds weren't as good. You couldn't catch exactly what was happening and whatnot the way you can now. So that's exactly what I saw too. Was the kids just jumping around, but
Hmm.
who
So
knows?
not in the actual pictures, but in the video that I watched on YouTube, that was more of like the footage of when it was actually happening. Because I know the ones you guys watch jump back and forth from like past stuff to like present and that kind of thing, and did a lot of
Mhm.
interviews. But mine was more of just like interviewing the children at the
Yeah,
time it was happening. And like a box would be thrown, or things would be thrown, a lamp would be unplugged. I mean, you could hear the actual fear in their voices, but I mean, you didn't see you didn't see the box, like this is just a random thing I have, but you didn't see it like here and then move to here. It would like be
yeah,
out of frame and just like
yep,
so it's
yep.
like someone really could have just thrown it. I mean,
And Chair Bear, that is something I'm going to talk about because that's
yep.
something that interests me very much.
Yeah, that
So,
happened during the video I watched as well too.
Yeah,
Creepy.
so when I saw that, I had two first impressions, right?
hmm,
You can go all over TikTok and Instagram and learn how to do the heavy metal growling without damaging your throat. That sounds just like what she was doing.
that's
And then
fair.
there are people who have extra sets of vocal cords. Because I know in that first documentary, they were talking about your false vocal cords, which are behind.
Yeah,
And they're like, yes, you can talk like that, but after a few minutes, you get hoarse. She was doing it for hours. And I'm like, so if she's already been practicing it for one, or two, if she's got an extra set, she's not going to get hoarse. She's not going to get sore.
no,
So I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not, and the fact that it was mostly just curse words, what 11 and 12-year-old doesn't like throwing out curse words?
right. But
I can't get
something, something that makes me, I can see what you're saying, and I can agree that I think some of the time it was her, but not all of the time, because how, when they were doing the recording where they had the person come in and ask questions like about the name, how'd you die and all that other good stuff, and it said Bill, and then it said
Mhm.
exactly how it died, and they didn't find out until weeks or months later that the guy who lived there before, his name was Bill, and he died of a hemorrhage and the chair in the corner.
Mhm.
The 11-year-old doesn't know that.
No, no, this is where I think
So,
they
so
take things that were happening and expanded. So, yeah.
that part, I'm like, well, I mean, that kind of helps me some. But then they said that they had put water in her mouth, taped her mouth shut, asked questions, got answers, and then took the tape off and she spit out the water. Okay, that's fine, but you didn't do any audio recording that I seen during this time. There's no video recording of us watching her sit there with the water and stuff in her mouth. There's just a still shot of you taking the tape off of her mouth. You
yeah.
can say anything you want to with a still shot.
I
I
was gonna
didn't
say,
see, there was absolutely no video evidence or anything that happened, even though everybody said it happened. But it's easy for everybody to agree on a story. They had 18 months to work out exactly what it was going to be for the next 40 years.
That's fair.
So, I mean, but there are other unexplainable things that really get to me, like the two random people I think it was a delivery guy and a neighbor or something has seen Janet levitating and flying around her room, and there was absolutely no relation. No, different one.
Different one.
Yeah, no, it was a totally different situation from that.
Looks
Those
like
ones there,
jumping off her bed.
yeah, that one there, it's clear that it just looks to me she was jumping off her bed and it just caught her at the right moment.
I'm gonna be honest. These girls look like they're having a great time. Like they do not seem concerned at all that this is happening.
And Janet herself has admitted, right, exactly. But Janet herself admitted that there were times that her and Margaret would play because things are quiet and they were like, we need to get something happening. So they would play. But she claims that Mr. Gross, which is the main investigator in this whole thing, would immediately know that they were messing around. And in some cases, he said, things like, he came in and the tape recorder was moved and they said that the ghost had stolen the recorder, but they didn't know that it was still recording. So it caught the girl saying, let's play a joke on him and hide the recorder and say it was the ghost. Which I'm sorry, that is funny to me. Like that is, I don't think there is a single one of us who will sit here and lie and say that we would not have done the same damn thing.
As children, oh yeah.
Yeah, we might have been, even as children, we might have been smart enough to not say that we were going to do it in front of the recorder just in case. But who knows? But what I was talking about was she was two people not related to each other whatsoever said that they actually saw her in the air on her back levitating around the room, like basically like this. And two separate people. And then the one woman said it was in her head all day. So when she got home from work, she laid down in her own bed and tried to do it, tried to recreate it, and it's impossible. And I'm like,
lady,
I know it was the 70s, but common sense was around in the 70s. If somebody tried to do it now, I'd be like, well, people are dumb. In the 70s, people had common sense. Well, I thought they did until I heard that. I'm like, girl, what part of your brain told you that was even something? I understand that you want to see, is it possible? Because like this little girl's doing it and like.
But my favorite is she tried to do it. So all you're doing when you're trying to do it is just thinking really hard about,
your friends to come light as a feather, stiff as a board. Like, where were your friends, lady?
Right.
It's crazy, but I mean, it's fun. But the biggest thing for me was when the cops had seen something happen in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, even though I'm a paranormal investigator and I am all in for helping people who need the help in these situations, the male cop had me cracking up when I heard, because the female cop said that she watched, I think, a chair scoot across the room by itself. And then they decided it was not a matter for the police, so they went to leave, but Peggy, the mom, stopped them and asked why they weren't helping. And the male cop said, I can't put handcuffs on somebody who's not there.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that was funny. I know it's not really a laughing situation, but that was kind of funny to me because, like, right? Like, what did she think? I mean, I'm sorry, but what do you think the cops are going to do to for any kind of paranormal?
See, my first thought was, what does the cop put on their report? He doesn't have to fill out paperwork everywhere. What does he put down, or just go, I got nothing.
Yeah,
Sorry,
scooted.
Yeah. Like, I want to see the police report that they had to file.
Right. So, Chair, I know for me, and I think maybe Emily and Richie might feel the same way. I don't want to speak for you guys, but I feel like there was legitimately paranormal going on, but I think young kids added to it.
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, like at first when I heard or saw in that documentary, like other people saw her floating, my first thought was that's a second story window. So how good is your angle and can you see what's going on? And I'm like, okay, I'm
fair
on the fence, But like the other, I think it was one of the reporters, one of the first ones that came in and listening, he's like, I got hit in the eyebrow with the Lego.
Yes, it was a photographer. For the Daily Mirror. They came in, they were leaving because they decided it was a hoax. And then somebody ran out the house yelling something like, it's happening. And they ran inside and crap was flying everywhere. And the photographer got hit over the eyebrow with a Lego.
I like how he was justifying. He's like, it was a rather sharp corner.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, I was laughing.
It left the mark for a couple days.
I will give him credit, man. He was not relenting from that story, and he was fighting tooth and nail.
I mean,
but I remember in the interview, I don't remember which video it was I watched because I watched a few, but he said that the next day before they were going back, somebody else in their newsroom said, "Are you sure you didn't just get smart with the misses?" And I'm like, well, you know what? If I got smart with the misses, I think I would rather tell them that a ghost threw a Lego at me than my wife popped me for being smart.
I mean, watch your mouth, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
But
no, I agree with that though, that there was definitely stuff going on, but I also think that the girls really enjoyed it. You know, I think they liked the attention that they were getting. I think it was fun for them. Also, sometimes like kids do that as a way to like cope. Like, I don't know. When I was a kid, I mean, definitely not to the extent that these girls dealt with anything, but like seeing spirits, things like that. I would make games out of kind of scary things that were already happening, maybe to help me just cope with the fact that it was happening. So that could have been what was happening with them too, is it's like, okay, well, might as well might as well capitalize on it. So that's what I think. But
I think one of the other I think it was in the second one that I watched, one of the naysayers, though, brought up a point that one of the original investigators that were there, like pretty much the whole time, was a guy, and the girls latched on him almost kind of like this father figure. So there was this approval where they wanted to appease and be like, look. I guess maybe hoping he would stay around longer, give them the support.
Oh, that's actually
so.
And I can see that side of the argument too, but and I think it was Gross, which is the guy that you were just talking about, Morris Gross. I think it was him that said Margaret, which was 12-year-old, was a very shy child, and she really didn't want, she didn't want the limelight whatsoever. But Janet, who's the one that everything was happening around, was very much enjoying it. And I'm like, well, yeah, everybody's paying attention to her and giving her everything right now. Like, she is getting all of your attention. Of course she loves it.
Especially after a parent
walked
out,
Yeah, dad left, and now, and mom's raising 4 kids. I'm not getting a whole lot of attention. And now this man comes in, and now, I got this random guy came in because some stuff was happening. Now I'm getting his attention. Everybody wants to talk to me when something new happens, which I think also. So my big thing is, I don't think it was only one thing. Definitely poltergeist activity. That girl definitely created something. But I think that's in some respect because of the whole Bill Wilkins thing. and how everything was so exact and everything, that it is possible that there may have been some sort of intelligent haunt there that was feeding off of that energy to get strong enough to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard some people say that she was possessed, but she wasn't possessed. There's no, absolutely not.
I don't think
And
so either.
and Janet, as an older woman, when they did the interview that we watched, she said when the voice happened, she's like, it wasn't coming from me. From her perspective, it was coming from behind her. But from everybody else's perspective, it was coming from her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, that's just one of those things that unless you're in the room, you're never going to actually know. But there's so much stuff with this case that can be, and because of the girls admitting that they did play some pranks, that's going to obviously give your skeptics everything they need to just throw out the entire case.
Mm-hmm.
And um, oh, and here's how. Oh, are you guys ready for this? I will tell you how we know it's a legitimate haunting. Ed and Lorraine Warren said so.
Oh, was it a demon?
Probably.
They didn't say it was a demon.
Wow.
That's the first time I've ever heard them go into a house and not say the word demon, but they went in and they sure enough said it was definitely haunted. And I'm like, well, Ed and Lorraine Warren said it. It's true.
Yeah. No, I know you're just we're being smart because they're always like
no
demon.
There was not an exorcism.
No exorcism
because it was mostly poltergeist activity, and so right in the middle of all of this stuff, Janet, and they made this very clear, had her first period. And then she started getting herself under control. And when she had her first period, things started to slow down and eventually went away because she was growing up. She was getting herself under control a little better. And so that's pretty much what happened there. The poltergeist just kind of went away because that's what happens when you get your emotions under control. Your poltergeist normally goes away.
Yeah, like I wonder if an exorcism probably wouldn't have.
It wouldn't have
necessarily been effective, because it's
not
it was spirit.
Well, yeah, because an exorcism is more for a possession, and she wasn't possessed.
Or even like a house cleansing, though. It's like maybe, but it's got to be it's actually the person who's creating the poltergeist that needs to change, not the house.
If I'm right and Bill Wilkins was really there, then it may have gotten him out. But as for the other crap that was happening because of Janet, nothing would have stopped that except for Janet.
I will say I did think Morris confronted the spirit, because we were actually laughing about this before it started, because he was like so polite. Like, I hope this is like okay to say, but like if it was an American, it'd be like, get out now, like blah blah blah, it'd be like yelling, like
we would have been tripping. Yeah,
he's like, please leave now, like these girls have had enough, you mustn't do this anymore. He's just so polite.
Please take your shit and leave.
Yeah, exactly. He was so nice about it. And
Melissa, you can even make it. You can even make being a jerk sound posh.
Right. Yeah, it was so
That's funny.
I was just dying because I'm like, this is so opposite of how like American shows, how they confront them. They're swearing.
That's because their investigators aren't roid raging like certain popular ones on TV.
I will admit, I will agree with that.
You're absolutely right.
So it's almost like they're solution oriented and not just in there to cause issues.
Let's be polite. Please leave my residence.
Yeah, have you tried asking, please?
Yeah.
Chair's got it down. I say good day, sir. I say good day.
It's not too much trouble. I was laughing so hard.
My train of thought just derailed again. Hold on, I'm coming back.
So in one of the documentaries I did see where somehow it was like a friend of a friend got this psychic medium paranormal person to come in from another country, right? Came in and he was like, you guys stay down here, I'm gonna go upstairs. And he came down, he's like, okay, it's all taken care of. And they're like, it greatly, like there was a couple instances where something would act up for a day or two and then just kind of left. And I'm like, okay, well, who is this person? And I think they do say the name in one of them. But you know, they did have some outside help come in to help greatly diminish. So then I have to wonder if this person was able to see maybe this poltergeist, this energetic energy coming off of, you know, this young girl and kind of like sit your ass down and stop it.
Right.
Or if there was a split, like a fracture of the identity of the spirit from her, depending on what was going on in all of that family life running amok. This is where you guys get to learn about soul retrieval at some point and kind of like come back. And
is that happening in the shamanism apprenticeship?
Yes, the program both pretty much in just at different times.
Very cool.
So that was kind of my thought when I heard that. I'm like, oh, maybe.
I guess too, you know how you can like bless a room with like Reiki or put a bunch of like positive energy and stuff into a room too. I guess if, I don't know, maybe he could have like filled up the house with like really positive, balanced, calming energy that maybe Janet would kind of pick up on and therefore act out a little bit less. So that also could have been an option.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
I say good day.
Oh, thank you. That reminds me. So because we were talking about how polite he was. So, well, I guess. So anyway, at one point he had said Morris Gross had asked about something about one knock for no, two knocks for yes. Do you understand? Something along those lines. And he's like, they knocked 53 times. He's like, I was being polite, and then I finally got fed up. And he said, are you having a game with me?
That's him getting fed up.
I'm like, that's you fed up? Because we would probably get banned if I tell you what an American would have said when they got fed up.
You winded me up. Sorry. I'm so sorry to anybody who has an accent. I'm so not. I know I'm terrible.
I can tell you that if I was over there, all I can hear is the F word coming out of my mouth. But like less than the accent that they use there in Enfield, because listening to them talk, you can hear, because it's different accents all over there,
right?
Just like over here. But when I hear the F word coming out of my mouth from anywhere over in Europe, I just hear Gordon Ramsay's voice in my head. Because he uses that word so much. So
yeah, get him in there. You would have scared the ghost.
Talk about making a situation worse. No, man. Keep him far, far away. Please keep him away.
That would be their version of the roid raging at the ghosts, I think.
Yeah, right.
Oh, chair. Oh, so we would fit in. She's like, just a heads up, if you come to Ireland, the ghosts have an awful mouth on them. So when I die, I need to go to Ireland. There's my
Those is your ghosts.
I will say from my experience.
My goodness.
From my experience, American ghosts are not very nice either. Like,
which ones?
Oh yeah.
I said American ghosts are not super polite either, like at all.
Especially you get into certain places.
Even like doing a reading for people, like I had a lady, her mom came through.
I hear Mrs. Brown's voice in my head when I read that. I hear Mrs. Brown.
But like I had her mom come through and I was like, she's saying like she was really, really quiet and stuff in life. And she's like, she said, you don't have that problem. Like, and the girl started laughing and she's like, that's exactly how she talked. So I'm like, yep, that's an American.
That's perfect, yeah.
Abrasive.
So any of our friends coming on a little later, we've been discussing, we're on a tangent now, the Enfield Poltergeist over in London. Enfield is a suburb of London. Yes. So there was a lot, and I think we all agree that there was some paranormal going on, poltergeist activity around the 11-year-old getting ready to go through puberty. But we all also agree that they took that and they ran with it for attention and praise, and just it was something they could control at that time in a very chaotic family household that they had going, between parents splitting up, mom kind of trash talking the dad, and school at that age and everything else. But it's quite an interesting case when you break it all down.
Yeah. So I have written here, because I listened to that same video over and over again until I almost memorized it. But Margaret and Janet both admitted that they did play some jokes, but Janet said that only about 2% of the time that they were playing jokes. Mm-hmm. But they're also, of course, 40 years later, you're going to stick to your guns and be like, we weren't playing that much. We were only doing it a small portion of the time. And they all did say, now, Mr. Gross, who was in the interview, that both girls were in that interview, and they all said that any time those girls would play a joke, the activity in the house would pick up afterwards, and they would pay hell for it. Like, it got so much worse because of them acting up. It's like, all right, you want to act a fool? I can show you how to act a fool. I think your sound's off.
Oh, here, let me unmute you.
I forgot I was muted because somebody's mowing the lawn outside. And so I didn't want to just like have the whole audio be that.
Like me last week in the middle of, I'm like, great, thanks, neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, they're coming closer. But I was saying that in the one I watched, the girls did say that. They said that they sometimes would start kind of playing around to make the things happen, because once they started messing with it, you know, it would amp up activity, which does make sense if it was a poltergeist, because as she gets agitated and amped up and energetic,
right,
the playing and all of that, then the energy that she basically created is going to follow suit. So
exactly.
So, sorry, Richie, you get covered, but hang on. Jacqueline says, doesn't it also make sense that when a girl of such a tender age is subjected to an extreme amount of scrutiny, she might back off of her claims because it's simply easier than telling the truth over and over and not being believed? The idea of the older girl's first period being used as an indicator of maturity doesn't sit well with me. So it's not an indicator of maturity, as we stated. It is because poltergeist activity is known to go around puberty time because of hormones, emotions, chaotic energy. So when her period finally hits and things start calming down, because her body's kind of getting used to its new way of being, that the poltergeist activity calms down. That's not necessarily a statement of maturity, especially mentally and emotionally. That's just that chaotic energy of that physical change is now like coming more to center, so that poltergeist activity starts dwindling. And I think too, that's when that other guy comes in who's like, I can help you. And he goes upstairs, does whatever he does, because he had everybody else stay downstairs. Like, okay, you're good now.
Yeah, that guy doesn't sit well with me. He didn't do anything but solicit the family at that point. But as for her backing off, she never did. 40 years later, she's telling the exact same story. This happened. News crews actually did, and according to Morris Gross, approached the girls at 11, 12 years old and tried to pay them to change the story and say that it was fake and all this other stuff, but they said absolutely not. This is what's happening in our home, and we're not going to back off of it. We're telling the truth.
Why
And
would they want to pay them to say it's fake? Just because it's more of a story that they like pulled this big
scam? It makes a good story, yeah. It makes a good story, good
Maybe
scam
I'm
story.
wrong, but I think this actually what happened is like more of a story, but I guess harder to believe.
Me too.
Yeah, but and just one more thing on like the poltergeist thing. So it happens with puberty and stuff. I forget the name of the other case that we did where the woman was claiming that she was like assaulted and all these things are going on.
Yeah.
That's another thing. So it's not just children. It can happen with adults and stuff following trauma.
Yes.
Yeah, really severe. I mean, I would even liken to say probably postpartum and stuff because hormones are crazy and your body, again, is going through a change. So I know I was a lot more sensitive to spirit and just things in general when I was pregnant because, again, your body's going through changes. So, like, and this isn't just women either. This is men as well. Young boys, same thing with puberty. So, absolutely. Yeah, so it really is just following those changes. But like Melissa said, the period was kind of brought up to show that things are starting to regulate a little bit. I will say I would probably be uncomfortable with somebody just like announcing that. Like, I don't know. It seems like they maybe gave up a lot of privacy without realizing that they were giving up privacy. So that's something you have to think too. Our children, 11, 12 years old, are they really old enough and mature enough? Is their prefrontal cortex developed enough to make a decision about their reputation basically for the rest of their lives?
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's a good point where you're like, hey, they're giving up privacy. Maybe they didn't realize having all of these people in their house. Because one of the things we discussed before we went live was the one naysayer who was like, nope. And, just announces what is now on TV. He's like, one night, you hear these moanings and things going on. And he's like, I go look in the room and he's like, clearly the one girl's, self-pleasuring, he's like, clearly that's what it was. But everybody else would say that there's ghosts in the walls, and I'm just kind of going, was there a more for being so polite? I mean, go ask the gentleman who got hit with the Lego to restate that for you.
Yeah, exactly. Was that really appropriate or relevant to the case? I mean, these things are happening in a room full of people when they're both just sitting there. So to me, why are you so concerned with what she's doing? Furthermore, it's before puberty, so clearly she's figuring her body out. I mean, I don't know. Like, that's not your business.
Let me take this banner down. You can see there's 3 beds in this bedroom.
Yeah.
So is she really doing all of it? Just saying.
Yeah, no.
the whole it's interesting. I did like that second one that I watched, and I believe I put the link up in there. You have your naysayers and you had your believers, and the way that they were like arguing the evidence back and forth. I mean, there was some really good arguments either way, for it. And it was done very logically, methodically. It wasn't clearly skewed. It was like, we're going to go right down the middle. You're going to get to hear both sides.
Which is amazing.
Which
is amazing.
Yes.
Because a lot of the times you only get one side or the other. And it's like, guys, let me hear what everybody thinks, because like everybody who's here is a believer in some respect. But you have to enter every case with a healthy amount of skepticism as well. I believe in everything. That's been made clear many times over. I believe in everything. But I go into every situation, all of my research that I'm doing, my investigations, all that. I have the skepticism because, once you can get rid of reasonable doubt, then that means that you have something that's absolutely unexplainable. So, and once you get to that point, then it's like, okay, now we're where we need to be. But it's like you can't go into a situation, hear something, be like, oh my God, it's a ghost. No. Let's see if there's something else that it could be. Now, you might find something else that it could have been that sounds exactly the same, and it still could be the ghost. But at the same time, it's like, if I can prove that it's something else, that something else could make that exact same sound, we're going to go with that, because at this point, there's no way of knowing, which is which. So, skeptics coming into any situation and explaining things are amazing. But my problem with most of the skeptics that you get in these situations is they are so closed-minded that a ghost could appear in front of them and they would find some way to explain it away. And it's like, guys, be skeptic. That is perfectly fine. But be open-minded enough to admit that something is happening.
Right. Just like you could be a believer, like we are, right? We all believe that this stuff exists, but we aren't completely like, every time I hear a knock in my house, I think it's a ghost.
Right. I mean,
and people don't take you seriously when it's like that, and you can't be logical and say, like, sure, did my dryer door pop open like 8 times? Sure. Was I just like, maybe the clothes are heavy, like maybe the clothes are hitting the door? Granted, I do probably think something after like the 3rd time of it happening. I was like, okay, like got it. But yeah, like you said, like mundane first, and then but same thing for the skeptics, where you said you could see it, they could see a full-blown apparition and not believe it. And what's even crazier to me is like, it's such a privilege to have even seen that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why they see it a lot of the time. I do think spirits are kind of like, I'll show you. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. Like, if I know if I was a spirit, I would, if I die before certain people who I know who are like dead skeptics, don't believe in anything, if I die before them, I promise you I am going to do what I can to make them understand that they are completely wrong. I will do everything. Well, like you were saying about like a drawer or something, like if something falls off of my desk, I'm like, okay, it was placed there in a weird way. But when I'm laying here in bed watching TV and I see something out the corner of my eye and I look over and I literally watch a wine glass that's been sitting on the back of the mini fridge that's behind stuff come up in the air and come out and fall, and the only 2 breathing things in this room is me and Luna, that's paranormal. That's not normal. But in the case of, in this case for the Enfield Poltergeist, there was definitely stuff going on, because the little girl was going through all kinds of stuff at, to use the words of that would be fun. You know what? I would move a chair right in front of somebody while they're walking and watch them fall. But you know what? That's okay. I'm going to be an asshole, but I mean, nobody would know the difference. But listen when I'm watching like ghost shows and stuff, and they ask some stupid question. I'm sitting on my end, and I just like, because a lot of times when you get recordings, it comes through like a whisper. It sounds like a whisper, and I'm always like, I always say, hey, yo, mama. And I'll be like, that's how you're going to know it's me, because you're going to ask a stupid question, and that's going to be your answer.
Your mom.
Because students get stupid answers. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. I mean, I'm a smart ass in life, and I firmly believe that what you are in life is what you are in death. So I'm a smart ass in life. I'm going to be a smart ass in death.
I love that. The chair bear ghost. Like, you are setting the precedence to become local legend in your area right now.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
What is my ghost aspirations?
Oof.
So my friend
Dangerous question.
Sandy and I, we have joked, and it kind of started on one of the Marianne lives about this was around the time of like the whole Russia, Ukraine, Putin, and so we're going to put together the Earthbound Hit Squad, and it kind of go mess with, take out people who are just who need it. Child abusers, you know, like
they talked about this yesterday.
Yeah. Like, oh, that abusive father fell down some stairs. Oh damn.
Uh-oh.
Damn. You know, serial killer fell on his own knife. Damn. Damn, these accidents keep happening.
That's funny.
Kathy's like, I'm in. Would be the Earthbound Hit Squad.
Oh yeah.
So those are my aspirations right there.
What about you, Emily?
I'm traveling. I'm going to be in Greece. I'm going to be Paris, you know, whatever. So see the world.
Stuck here in life, so you're leaving in death.
Yeah.
I do kind of have a list.
That's funny.
Unfortunately, the list is long on this planet. So and when I get bored of that, I'm crossing over. I'm not coming back. I'm done with Earth. I've been here. I came. I've seen. I am not impressed with this planet.
Right. I think I might just like to like absorb and do a patch of moss or something. Like just, you know, slowly sink into the forest.
That's something else. I'm sitting here like, man, I know I said that I would do all this other stuff, but like, really, do I really want to? Because like,
it's like a second job.
I've had enough of this in my physical life. I don't want to deal with it in my afterlife too. So no matter which direction I'm going, let me just move on. Like, you know, at the same time, just like, let me move on whichever direction I'm going and just be done with it. But at the same time, like, but once I'm dead, I can do everything that I couldn't do when I was alive.
That's what I mean. And traveling's free.
Nobody can,
right? No airfare.
No one can do anything about it.
You don't have to book your Airbnb in advance.
Yeah, exactly. You just go for a few hours, leave. It's fine.
You know what? I'm going to be just like, not just like my ghost name. And oh God, forgive me for this. I'm going to get hell for this from everybody. I'll never live down what I'm about to say. I'm going to be just like Fatso.
Oh, Casper. from
Casper's uncle.
Oh my God.
Stretch Stinky Fatso, Casper's uncle.
You made me want to watch Casper again.
I want to watch it too, but I can't freaking find it anywhere to stream, and I can't hook up my DVD player right now either.
Yeah, I think it's just Casper and Wendy.
Oh God, I love Casper Meets Wendy.
I think that, you know, I would go visit outer space, but I don't know if I would stay there.
Yeah, I would only do it as a ghost. The idea of going, as much as I love astrology and I love planets and all that, and Brandon thinks I'm like crazy for this, but like I would not want to go in space. The idea of getting lost out there is like terrifying. Maybe like 2 days before I die, just send me up there. But other than that, not interested.
I mean, I would want to go see some planets. Like, is it Jupiter that is supposed to rain diamonds? I'm like, does it really though? Does it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are a few people under the metaphysical umbrella that feel like Venus, like all of those beings that come from that planet are like a different dimension. And I'm like, are they? I want to go see. Prove it. But space is huge. I'd be okay getting lost and not coming back to Earth, quite honestly.
Yeah, I think as a ghost I would. I just don't want to have a physical body and be...
Oh, no, you wouldn't last long there.
That's scary.
Yeah, as a ghost, it would be great to go up there. Absolutely. I would probably end up haunting Cedar Point, though, to be honest with you, because, like... Like right now, I'm struggling because like I put on weight again, and I'm too big for the roller coasters now. And that was like my biggest thing for the last 2 years was I dropped 125 pounds. I can ride roller coasters again. And then I put like 25 pounds back on, and it's like, hey, guess what? You ain't gonna get it to close now because they're not fluffy friendly.
Kitty.
She's being insane right now.
So I'm like, I gotta, lose 25 pounds by June 5th, or I'm not going to Cedar Point this year. Well, as a ghost, I don't have to worry about buckling up. So just
woo!
You'll see Richie in those little pictures that they take on roller coasters. You'll see like blurry Richie.
Yep, absolutely. You're going to know it's me.
I would probably go haunt libraries too.
Oh, she's going after a bug. I'm sorry. Hang on. No. Unmute myself too.
I was gonna say, you're not muted. This is hilarious.
I was say, please stay unmuted because that was so much fun. No, I'm definitely in with that too, Melissa. Libraries. I mean, I love libraries anyway. I mean, I would be haunting libraries, bookstores, coffee shops.
So, that's funny. Mary Ann, we asked her, we're like, have you ever seen a dinosaur ghost? And she's like, no. And I'm like, but why? And she's like, I have no clue. And I'm like, what about alien ghosts? And she's like, no. And I'm like, but why? She's like, I have no idea. So, but it is, I like to think if it's alive, there's some sort of a soul, right? As what we perceive them to be. But
yeah,
maybe just when they die, aliens, like they have a whole different process, right? Yeah. My theory with dinosaurs, it's not proven, it's my guess. You got a big bang, I think like it created like that, such a traumatic event, like a white light appeared somehow and just took them. I don't know. Yeah,
instead of a black hole, it was like a white light version of like a black hole or something.
Yeah, that like such an impact, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, just the neighbor.
I'm guessing here.
Okay,
I'm guessing.
They ain't doing nothing but going to their room.
Vicky's like, outer space would it actually freak me out because I have no experience with it. Kind of like chickens to leave a familiar place like Earth.
Yeah, I feel the same way about like deep sea.
Yeah, she's seen the actual aliens, but she's not seen the ghost of an alien, right? Because you figure with the crash landings, like,
what if they're like immortal? Like, what if they don't have like a lifespan like we do?
Or they're like us. They're like, this planet sucks. I'm leaving. I'm not going to ride here.
that could happen.
So who knows? Because too, you know what? And I didn't think to ask her. I'll have to text her later. We usually talk Wednesday afternoons, and he'd be like, "So, we got a question for you." Like, she has met and she even fostered a child that was like half alien. So I'm going to be like, what about them? What do their ghostesses look like? Like, do they hang around? Do they? Dear Mary Ann.
A question only you
can right.
That question is a good question. It's something that I would be nervous to ask somebody because I'd feel like, I mean, Mary Ann, obviously, so I'm pretty sure you can literally ask her whatever you want, and she's going to know this is just Melissa being Melissa.
She might yell at me or lecture me, but she'll still answer.
She might yell at you or lecture, yeah, but I'd be like, if I ask this question, am I going to offend whoever I'm talking to? But at the same time, like, if it's somebody like you, like Mary Ann, like you guys know each other so well, like, she's not going to be offended. She's going to be like, you can't be asking questions like that. Like, here's the answer, but don't ask it a question ever again.
Well, maybe, but she also, it's funny. She and I have conversations outside of live that, you will never catch her doing live. So yeah, I could. She's hilarious. She's like that extra grandma, that extra family member. So like that grandmother that will yell at you while still doing the thing that you asked them for.
Yeah.
Love her to death. But I'm like, why didn't I ever think to ask her that way back when? And she might go, I'm retired, right? But here's your answer.
Yeah.
um, so
Chris, I agree with you. I don't think alien ghosts would want to hang out here either.
no, maybe in the woods. Like I see, there's so many things. I would either, when I'm not, taking out bored people, haunting a library, I would also probably have fun scaring the crap out of people in like local legend, kind of like, what is that place right there in Lorain County with the Gore Orphanage?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's really nothing there, but if I happen to catch somebody out there, I'm going to mess with you. That's what you get for going on property that isn't yours.
Yeah, really.
Well, the good news is you have eternity, so.
It's
well, with all these different ways.
I mean, it's not like you have to just do one thing. You have forever.
That's very true. It's kind of inspiring.
A very sarcastic type of sense of humor, yes.
And I don't know her well enough to know that personally.
And I love Tara. Tara and I are almost very similar personalities. So like when me, Tara, and Marianne were all together at Mansfield last year, and Marianne made a comment about some of the celebrities of like what was hanging around them. And she's like, I wonder if they know. I'm like, do you want me to go ask? She's like, no. And Tara's like, let's go ask. She's like, oh my God. Because we leave her. And Mira's like, get back here. And we're like,
yeah. I mean, they're celebrities. They're used to being asked random questions. So why not?
Like, who is the woman who's transitioned, who goes by this and did this and died? And I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
Let's go back to the old commercials that came on at 10 o'clock before I was born and change it up a little bit. Do you know who your ghosties are? You know?
So every medium always says is know your dead people. They're like,
I've been told many a time that I have so many dead people hanging around me, and that's why I'm always so drained, and I need to stop doing that. And I'm like, guys, I can't see or hear them yet. I'm working on it, but they can't communicate. And if they're as stubborn as I am, they're not going anywhere until I listen.
Yeah, working in a hotel doesn't help that at all.
No.
Well, that's true. That is true.
Sure doesn't.
Right. Yeah. Tara and Marianne are a blast. Love them.
Chris, I can't wait until June 8th so I can see you. It's been so long.
Yeah, so actually, all of us and Chris, June 8th, if you're local, Wine and Spirits, 5 to 10. Marianne will be there too.
Yes.
So, and I'm pretty sure Tara will be as well. Tara's the driver for, like, she is so retired. She's got a driver. It's her daughter, but she's got it.
I mean, hey.
It's also Larry and
Larry and
who's been on here.
Yeah.
And
so
Nick who we've done Wednesday readings with. So
So we'll all be there June 8th at Wagner's in Westlake. So you can come out and see us. Our next live will be in like 2 weeks. I promise this time. I know before we were like, we'll see you in 2 weeks. And then we showed up last week like, surprise. And we
yeah, but we had to do that. We got Greg to sit down for 5 minutes, and that never gets to happen. So we had to do it.
Yep, you take that opportunity when it comes.
Yeah, so. That's one of those things. It's like I mean, getting him to sit down long enough to talk. It's like,
and it was more honestly hour. He was going to one reading. We happened to be there, and then he had another one right after. So.
Yeah, and like he literally right toward the end, he was like, "Okay, guys, I gotta go. I got whatever." And it's like,
to do. Yep. Bye.
Listen, we are so glad that we got this amount of time with you.
Yeah, and just the announcement was super exciting too. So for those who missed it, he's going to be on Dark Echoes Paranormal. It is on Amazon and Paraflix, which I did download Paraflix.
I downloaded it too.
Right now I'm in the free trial. I might continue on to pay for it. It was like, I think it's like $3.99 a month or something.
Yeah, it was cheap.
Yeah, not bad. And if it's a whole thing of all of my favorite stuff, then let's give it a shot. But yeah, you can watch Dark Echoes on there too. So
okay. And I saw the not possible. She is a confirmed cast member as well. Possible that she might still be lurking, and I know she's been lurking watching because she sent an emoji. Who sent it? So if we can get her on for an episode, that would be fun. Hint, hint. And she was texting me before too. So I'm like, dear person.
Right.
It's so exciting.
Tell me what your Wednesdays.
Shushy.
But it's great that Cleveland, like,
I know, I hear you.
Good coming out of Cleveland for a change, right?
Yes.
And we have really talented people in this area, so it's great that they're getting recognized. Yeah.
So something that I'm going to just tell you guys that I'm excited about. At least I got one place already lined up to do this with, and it gives me confidence to push for more. I'm not going to say where yet until I get all the details worked out. But sometime this year, I'm going to have another YouTube series starting. Instead of me just looking up history and paranormal experiences and places and talking about it, just me, I'm going to be going to these places and interviewing the people who work there to get the history straight from them and the paranormal stuff straight from them.
Very cool.
And also some of my own research because I have to do my own stuff too. But I've got one place lined up already. We just have to work out the details of when I'm going to be able to do it. And if I do end up doing my own subscription to StreamYard, then it'll make it even easier because I can get a hold of them and just do it like this with them instead of having to actually travel to the places.
Nice.
So that's part of why I'm thinking about doing it. But I've also got so much going on financially, it's going to be a little harder to add yet another subscription to my... But
So in 2 weeks, we're lining this out right now. We will have guest Stacia doing the chat right now. She is the other confirmed cast member out of Cleveland for Dark Echoes.
Awesome.
She's newer to the store, so I don't know how many of you have met her, but she is an excellent medium. I don't know if you did or not, Reggie. He asked if he'd met her, but
I don't think so yet. You'll meet her on the for the wine event because she'll be there. She is
well, I mean, I'll meet her in 2 weeks.
Russian shaman. So, and she does exorcisms and all fun things too. So, so yeah, she investigates. She's a psychic medium. Not afraid of the big bad scary things either.
Oh, that's why I like her so much.
Larry said it, so it must be true.
She is amazing.
I say that with absolutely no sarcasm. Okay, I want to make that very clear because earlier I said the same thing about Ed and Lorraine Warren very sarcastically. When I say it about Larry says it, so it must be true, I have no sarcasm whatsoever.
So in 2 weeks, we will have Stacia on with us talking about her journey and her work in Dark Echoes. And then she will be reading that day in stores. So Emily, you'll have your friend there in the other room. Because she's like, I have this one day because she's another one who's really, really busy. And I'm like, well, Wednesdays aren't the busiest. She's like, I don't care. I like hanging out. And I'm like, well, okay then.
Is she coming every Wednesday?
No, just that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, you'll get to meet her in person if you're local at the Wine and Spirits event, but she will be with us in 2 weeks to talk about all of her fun stuff. But guys, Yeah, I was going to say, feel free to send in suggestions for any cases you'd like us to look into. And Stacia, she's been to some places too. And so maybe we'll ask her, some like, what's your favorite haunted place? And
yeah, absolutely.
but thank you guys for joining. I know Emily's probably got to get ready for meeting.
Yeah.
And Richie, I'm sure you're tired. And I need more coffee. It's empty.
Perfect.
So
everybody,
that's our cue, everyone.
Before we go, I just want to thank everybody for still sticking with us, even though we have kind of been shaky for a little bit because things haven't always worked out for us all to be here. You guys have stuck with us, so thank you so much for that. We appreciate it so much. You don't even know how much we appreciate and love the fact that you guys are still here faithfully.
Yes, this is so fun for us. So thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Yep. 2 weeks, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.